Hey, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I spend way too much of my free time flying, testing, and occasionally crashing drones, so you don't have to guess whether they're worth your money. Today we're doing a full breakdown of the Lito X1, DJI's newest sub 250-gram drone. And I want to be upfront with you, this is not going to be a quick here's 5 features, buy it or don't video. We're covering the full picture, the surprising backstory behind why DJI renamed this entire lineup, the design, the sensor tech that genuinely surprised me, the camera quality with real footage comparisons, the storage situation, pricing in multiple regions, and who this drone is actually built for. Stick around, because around the 15-minute mark, I'm going to show you a flight clip that made my jaw drop, and I don't say that lightly on this channel. Why DJI killed the Mini name? Let's start with something most reviewers are going to skip right past, because it actually tells you a lot about where DJI's head is at right now. For years, DJI's entry-level lineup lived under the Mini name Mini 2, Mini 3, Mini SE, and so on. That name meant something specific: small, light, cheap, and a little bit limited compared to the flagship Mavic and Airlines. But somewhere along the way, DJI's engineers apparently got tired of that ceiling, because the Mini name has been quietly retired and replaced with something new, the Lito series. There's the Lito 1, which is the direct successor to the old Mini SE territory, and there's the Lito X1, which is what we're focused on today. Same ultralight body, same sub 250-gram weight class that keeps you out of a lot of drone licensing headaches depending on your country, but a completely different sensor and camera package underneath. Renaming a whole product line isn't a small decision for a company like DJI. It usually signals that the old naming convention had baggage attached to it, and I think Mini had started to feel like a synonym for compromise in a lot of buyers' minds. The Lito name is a fresh start, and after flying this thing for over a week, I think the fresh start is earned. First impressions okay, let's actually get into the box, because first impressions matter, and DJI clearly knows that. Pop the lid, and the drone sits right on top, folded down into this tiny little brick that's genuinely close to the size of a smartphone. I know reviewers say that about every folding drone at this point, but hold on, let me actually put my phone right next to it on camera so you can see this isn't just a lazy comparison. Look at that, it's remarkably close. Underneath the drone, you've got the controller, a set of spare propellers, the charging cable, and, depending on which kit you grabbed, an extra battery or two. The whole unboxing experience feels considered. Nothing rattles around, nothing feels like an afterthought, and the little quick start card actually walks you through your first flight in about 4 steps, which matters more than people give it credit for, because a lot of first-time drone buyers give up before they ever get airborne simply because the setup feels intimidating. DJI clearly design-tested this unboxing with total beginners in mind, and that's a smart move for a drone in this price bracket. Design quality deep dive now. Let's talk about how this thing actually feels in your hands, because spec sheets don't tell you that. Unfolding it takes about 30 seconds if you're doing it for the first time, and honestly closer to 10 once muscle memory kicks in. The arms swing outward with a satisfying, confident click, the propellers unfold on their own hinge points, and there's no wobble or flex anywhere in the frame, which is something cheaper drones in this category genuinely struggle with. DJI used a slightly denser polymer composite on the arm joints this time around, and you can actually feel the difference if you've handled a Mini 2 or Mini SE before. The body has this understated matte finish that resists fingerprints far better than I expected, and the camera gimbal is protected by a small clip-on guard that you'll want to keep in your bag rather than lose in week 1. Trust me. What impressed me most, though, is the sensor layout. This isn't just a camera bolted onto a flying frame anymore. There's a genuinely sophisticated suite of omnidirectional sensors built into the shell, tucked in seamlessly enough that you'd barely notice them unless you knew exactly where to look, and we are absolutely going to dig into what they can actually do in just a few minutes. The LiDAR system explained, here's the feature that separates the Lito X1 from basically everything else at this price. And I want to slow down here because it deserves a proper explanation rather than a quick mention. Most budget drones rely purely on cameras for obstacle detection. That means the drone is essentially guessing distance and shape based on 2-dimensional image data, which works fine in good lighting and falls apart the moment things get dim, foggy, or visually cluttered. The Lito X1 pairs that camera-based vision system with an actual forward forward-facing LiDAR sensor. LiDAR works completely differently. It fires out rapid pulses of light and measures exactly how long they take to bounce back, which means it's building a real three-dimensional map of the space in front of it, in real time, regardless of how much light is available. I tested this in two conditions most reviewers won't bother with: total darkness and thick morning fog near a tree line. In both cases, the difference from camera-only drones was immediately obvious. I flew the Lito X1 directly at a low-hanging branch at a controlled, cautious speed, and instead of the drone simply beeping and hovering in a panic, it recalculated a new flight path mid-motion and glided around the obstacle like it had already planned for this exact scenario. That's not object detection. That's closer to genuine spatial awareness. And it's the first time I've seen it done convincingly at a price this low. If you're the kind of flyer who's ever clipped a branch or misjudged a gap between two buildings, this single feature alone might be worth the upgrade. AI flight modes now, sensors are only half of the story here, because DJI built genuinely clever software on top of that hardware. And this is where the Lito X1 stops feeling like a toy and starts feeling like an actual creative tool. First up is ActiveTrack. You tap your subject on the screen, in my case, that was me, walking down a gravel trail, and the drone locks on and follows without a single joystick input from you. It adjusts altitude, distance, and framing entirely on its own, and it does it smoothly enough that the footage doesn't have that jittery, overcorrecting look that cheaper tracking systems produce. Then there's MasterShots, which honestly might be my favorite feature on this entire drone. You pick a preset inside the DJI Fly app, and the drone runs a fully automated camera sequence orbits around your subject. Slow reveals, dramatic push-ins, and then it automatically edits those clips together into a finished highlight reel before you've even landed the thing. I ran a MasterShot sequence around an old barn near my house, and what came out the other end looked like something that used to require a second pilot and a solid hour in an editing timeline. For content creators specifically, this is the feature that changes your actual workflow, not just your footage quality. It's automating tasks that genuinely used to be a job title. Camera breakdown, let's talk image quality. Because a drone can have every sensor in the world, but if the footage looks flat and lifeless, none of that matters to the people watching your video. The Lito X1 uses a 1/1.3-inch sensor, which is a noticeable step up from the smaller sensor in the base Lito 1, and you can see that difference the moment you compare stills side by side. You're getting 48-megapixel photos and 4K video up to 100 frames per second, which gives you genuinely usable slow motion rather than the choppy, stuttery slow-mo you get from lower frame rate sensors. There's also a 10-bit D-Log M color profile available, which matters more than casual buyers realize. Straight out of the camera without any editing, the footage already looks solid, good dynamic range, accurate skin tones, minimal noise, even in moderate shade. But once you pull that log footage into an editor and apply a proper color grade, that's when this sensor actually separates itself from the cheaper drones crowding this price category. I graded a sunset clip from this drone against footage from a Mini SE I still had lying around, and the difference in recoverable highlight and shadow detail was not subtle. If you're someone who edits your footage rather than posting it straight off the memory card, this camera is going to reward that extra effort significantly. Transfer speed and workflow here's a detail that barely gets mentioned in most reviews, and it genuinely changed my workflow this past week. The Lito X1 ships with 42 gigabytes of internal storage built directly into the drone. The base Lito 1 has 0 internal storage, so it's a micro SD card or nothing, which means if you forget a card at home, that drone is a very expensive paperweight for the day. The X1 solves that entirely, and it doesn't stop at just having storage. The quick transfer feature over Wi-Fi let me pull full-resolution clips straight to my phone at up to 50 megabytes per second without ever touching a memory card or a laptop. On a morning shoot last week, I landed the drone, transferred 4 clips straight to my phone while walking back to my car, and had a rough cut posted to my private story before I even got home. That kind of speed sounds like a minor convenience until you're the person who's ever missed an upload deadline because you were still hunting for a card reader. For creators who need to move fast event coverage, real estate walkthroughs, same-day social content, this storage and transfer combination quietly saves you real, measurable time on every single shoot you do. World flight test notes now. Let's get into how this thing actually performs once it's in the air, because specs on paper and real-world flight time rarely match up perfectly. DJI rates the standard battery at a healthy flight time, and in ideal conditions, mild temperature, low wind, I got remarkably close to that rated number, which honestly surprised me because most manufacturers pad their numbers a little. Where things got more interesting was cold weather. I took the Lito X1 out on a chilly morning, and flight time dropped noticeably, which is completely normal for lithium battery technology, but worth knowing before you plan a winter shoot around it. Range-wise, I pushed it out further than I typically would on a first review, and the video transmission held up cleanly with minimal lag, even with some tree cover between me and the controller. Wind resistance impressed me more than I expected for a drone this light. It handled a moderately gusty afternoon without the kind of visible shakiness you sometimes see in ultralight drones, thanks largely to that improved sensor suite constantly making tiny corrective adjustments you don't even notice happening. I'll be doing a dedicated deep dive flight test video on battery performance in more extreme conditions, so if that's something you specifically care about, stick around for that one. The US problem, okay. Let's talk money, because this is where I need to set your expectations properly before you go searching for this drone online. In Canada, the Lito X1 is priced at $379 for the standard kit, or $539 for the Fly More combo, which includes extra batteries and additional accessories. Here's the part that's going to frustrate a lot of you watching from the United States. As of right now, DJI has not launched the Lito X1 in the US market. And this isn't just DJI being slow about it. According to DJI, the Lito series is being held back specifically because its US regulatory authorization is still pending, tied to the broader FCC-related approval hurdles that have been complicating DJI's US launches lately. That means if you're seeing US pricing floating around on marketplace listings or third-party sites, that pricing is almost certainly coming from resellers, not from DJI directly, and it's very likely inflated well above the actual regional retail price. I always recommend waiting for an official regional launch rather than paying reseller markup, both for pricing reasons and for warranty support reasons, because reseller units often come without proper regional warranty coverage. If you're outside the US and this pricing is available to you directly, you're getting genuinely strong value here. If you're in the US, my honest advice is to be patient, because until that regulatory approval clears, an official launch simply isn't on the table yet. Who should buy this? So, who is this drone actually for? Let's be honest about it, because I don't think every viewer watching this needs to run out and buy one. If you already own a Mini 4 Pro, I don't think this is a meaningful upgrade for you. The Mini 4 Pro still holds its own in several areas, and the core value proposition of the Lito X1 is bringing advanced features down to a lower price point, not necessarily exceeding what already exists at the top of DJI's lineup. But if you're stepping into drone photography and videography for the very first time, or if you're a content creator who wants AI-assisted cinematic shots without hiring or coordinating a second pilot, the Lito X1 is genuinely the most capable entry-level drone DJI has ever released. Full stop. It's also a strong pickup for travel content creators specifically, because the combination of lightweight, no license requirement in most regions, and genuinely advanced obstacle avoidance means you can fly more confidently in unfamiliar locations without the steep learning curve older entry-level drones demanded from beginners. Final verdict. So, here's my honest, no-nonsense verdict after flying this thing nearly every day for over a week. The DJI Lito X1 does something genuinely rare in the drone market right now. It takes flagship-level spatial awareness technology and makes it available at a price point that doesn't require a second mortgage. Is it perfect? No, and I haven't even gotten into everything yet. There's a wind performance test I ran that produced a result I genuinely did not expect. A cold weather battery test with numbers that might change your buying decision entirely if you live somewhere with real winters, and a full breakdown of exactly how far that LiDAR tracking held up during an actual outdoor obstacle course I built specifically to stress test it. That entire deep dive is coming in the next video, and trust me, you're going to want to see the obstacle course footage, because there's a moment in there that genuinely made me say no way out loud while reviewing the raw clips. So that's my full first impressions breakdown of the DJI Lito X1, the backstory behind the name change, the LiDAR system that's punching well above its price class, the camera quality that actually holds up under a real color grade, and the pricing situation you need to know about before you buy. If this video actually helped you understand whether this drone is worth it, do me a favor and hit subscribe right now, because the flight test video is dropping soon, and I don't want you to miss that obstacle course footage I just mentioned. Drop a comment below and let me know, are you Team Lito X1 or are you holding out for the US launch? I read every single comment. content, and I'll be picking a few of your questions to answer directly in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.